Hello, my name is Mercury and welcome to this brand episode of Media FA. Today I'll be discussing something I talked about quite a while ago. I haven't talked about. I mentioned, I think in the last episode, talking about kaiju, not the trailer 3, but my episode on the trailers for Monarch Legacy of Monsters and Godzilla -1. Or maybe even before that. I don't remember when those episodes came out. Probably before then. GAMERA Rebirth. So yeah, this is the GAMERA's triumphant return to media in general. GAMERA hasn't been in a movie or any production since 2006, before this came out. So yeah, it's been quite a while since he has graced us with his appearance, but he is back. GAMERA's back, and it seems like he's here to stay. So we're gonna begin talking about the anime released quite a while ago, 3 months ago, on Netflix. So last September. And we're gonna talk about it here. I don't know how long this episode is gonna be, but GAMERA Rebirth. GAMERA's back. This is my first real exposure to GAMERA, in like seeing him in a show or in anything really. I don't have any experience with the GAMERA franchise other than some videos that review his movies. So I have zero exposure to GAMERA. Yeah. I have covered anime with kaiju in the past, like Pacific Rim: The Black. That's actually it. So yeah, we've been covering kaiju anime for quite a while, and GAMERA's here to facilitate it. So, but what are my opinions on GAMERA Rebirth? What are my opinions on my first time seeing anything GAMERA related? Well, again, I have my notes here, so I'm going to go into every single point I want to get to before we go on ahead and continue onward. So, the first point I want to get to is the animation. Now, the animation in most kaiju anime, I gotta say, isn't the best. Pacific Rim: The Black, I'm pretty sure I said that the animation in that series is clunky, and it reminds me of the animation in the Godzilla anime trilogy, where it's very stiff, and also in the Ultraman anime, which I will also be reviewing sometime in the future. I have not finished the third season. I started the third season, but that came out this year in May, and I completely forgot. I didn't know it was coming out. Completely forgot about it, and I'll be rewatching the entire thing and posting all of my thoughts on there now the series is fully done. But yeah, so it's very clunky, and I feel like this is the worst animation I've seen in a kaiju anime. Which is sad to say, and the reason why it's probably this way is because GAMERA isn't a very big franchise. So they didn't want to sort of put a lot of money into it. It was made by Studio ENGI, which I don't know what they've made. Here we go. I'm on their Wikipedia page. They made Uzaki-chan Wants to Hang Out, but that's 2D, not 3D. So I don't know. They've mostly made 2D. It looks like they've mostly made 2D. So this is I think this is their first foray into 3D. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't look. It looks it looks terrible. I don't want to say terrible, but it's certainly not good. It's specifically the human characters. The human characters don't look the best in the show. They move they move clunky. Their animations are clunky. It's just not very good. That's the best way I can put it. It's the animation in here isn't good at all, which is sad. Which is sad to say, because I would you know, I would love to have like a better animation. But thing is, something I gotta say about the animation is that the monsters are actually well animated. They don't have the problem with the humans, and I'm guessing that's because maybe they're easier to animate. I don't know if they're easier to animate if they're here than humans. They probably are, but yeah, sorry. So the monsters look good in the animation with the monsters and the monster. I guess the kaiju. They call them kaiju in this. The kaiju animation is pretty good, and it's sort of, I don't know. It's sort of weird to see this, like, how would you call it, like, comparison, where the human stuff looks it doesn't look good. It looks like ass. Let me put that. It looks bad. And the monster side is pretty well animated and everything. If you just look at the monsters, you think it was well animated, but the humans aren't well animated at all. It's honestly its biggest glaring problem, and I can see a lot of people being turned off by the show, going into this and seeing the animation not being very well produced. The kaiju action it's great, but everything else after that just isn't good. It's pretty sad to see that. But I mean, it's weird, but what can I say? They didn't do it well, and it's probably because they had a limited budget that they had to work with, and it didn't really suffice to make good animation. They probably put all their budget into the monster action, which is what the whole series kind of hinged itself upon, the monster action, because it was the main crutch of the whole thing of the marketing, is that we were gonna see Gamera fighting 5 other kaiju, which are, I have them down in order: Gauss, Jiger, Segra, Giron, and Beerus. So they're here. They're from the original series. But yeah, the original like show was Gamera series. But yeah, I mean, the animation does look bad, but what can I really say? At least the kaiju action looks good, and when the kaiju action is really good, it's really good. They don't the thing here is not that much of a problem. Moving on to the characters. Now that I've talked about the animation for quite a bit, the animation is just kind of bad. But you're moving on to the characters, which is what actually kind of this. I don't know if it carries the show, but it has its things. And so the first character I want to talk about is the protagonist of the show, Boko. or however he's called in the show. Well, it's Boko. Boko is the main character. He has this connection to Gamera. He has this connection to to everything, really. He's one of these kids. And he's pretty important. He's moving to another school, and he has a group of friends, which he's gonna have to leave and whatever. And honestly, and he's like wrapped up in this, and he's wrapped up in all of the Gamera stuff, and it's revealed that he's actually like super important. And he creates his code. Honestly, Boko serves his purpose. He's not a horrible character. He's not a bad character. He serves his purpose, but I don't think Boko's the highlight of the show. There are a lot of moments that do surround him, and he does, I guess, influence a lot of characters. But I don't know. He's not the main character. I don't think he's one of the better main characters. I think. I really do think he's fine. He's fine. I think Boko's kind of fine as a character. He serves his purpose as being the protagonist and sort of always believing in Gamera, kind of like in the Showa series. Like there's always this character that believes in Gamera and whatever. But he's not super unique. He serves his purpose as the character who believes in Gamera and would do anything to help Gamera because he loves Gamera and Gamera has a connection with him and whatever. But he's important and just serves his purpose in the plot pretty well. So honestly, aside from that, he's not much to say about him. I don't think so. A lot of the moments that really do involve him, I think, mostly come from like him being the certain point of other people. So yeah. Next up is Joe, which I actually think is one of the better characters in the whole show. So Joe is very overprotective of Boko, and when they get bullied in the first episode, Joe steps up. Also, these kids are like 12 years old. It's insane. And obviously, and they also curse a lot, so it's pretty weird seeing that being a thing. But Joe, I think, is one of the better characters, and I feel like he has the character arc. He doesn't believe in the foundation. There's this foundation called the Eustace Foundation, which, but turns out to be fucking evil. But he doesn't believe in them at all, and his suspicions turn out to be correct because they turn out to be evil. Yeah. So he's right, and he wants to protect Boko, and he does. His character comes in, and his character rounds up when he sacrifices himself, so they have it. So Boko can be saved and whatever. So honestly, he's one of the better characters here. He's very combative, but he's not stupid, I think. I don't think he's stupid. He's combative, but he's smart, and it's something that I think makes him a great character. Is the relationship with Joe of Boko? Sorry, Joe and Boko's relationship is very integral to the plot, to these characters and the plot technically, and that's honestly something that really shines through here. And I think that's what makes Joe one of the better characters in the whole show. Just the entirety of what he does here. And next up is Junichi. Junichi, she doesn't do much in this series. That's the thing. She doesn't do much. She's there. She's the. I don't know. I guess she does bring up the whole like weird like alien stuff to the whole fray, and she just like make it seem so, not make it seem like she brings out this whole like occult thing and whatever, and she finds out that these monsters have a certain reason why they're showing up here. It's the whole like occult thing, and that's honestly I feel like it's something that could have been explored more, but I don't think it was given enough time. I think her character could have been interesting if she was given more time to sort of explore the god damn it, these dogs. If she was given more time to explore the occult side of the whole series, also, god damn it. Why do dogs bark so loud? It's incredible. I would love to have the vocal cords of a dog. Maybe I could speak straight, you know? Maybe I could have a sentence that doesn't end in me either going silent for like a microsecond, thinking about what I want to say next, or slurring over my words and just like producing incomprehensible things, or just repeating words that don't make any sense for me to repeat, like I'm stuttering half of the fucking time. It's like you just did it right there. I would have to have the vocal cords of that thing that can consistently do the same sound over and over again, and not slip up at any time. I'd love to have the vocal cords of a goddamn dog, and I could probably scream louder too. Maybe the people would hear me. I don't know. Sorry for doing that tangent over there, but dogs, I hate dogs. Not that I hate dogs, but I hate when they do this. This has happened quite a lot of time. But yeah, no, Junichi. Junichi's fine. She doesn't. I guess she doesn't do much aside from the whole thing. She just she goes to like a friendship with Emiko, which completely blows over in the end. It's honestly, I'm gonna get to Emiko later, but Emiko is the worst character in the show, and that's a good thing. But yeah, Junichi, she's like, Emiko's like, I think the best character because she's so hateable. But yeah, we're gonna get Emiko later. So yeah, that's Junichi. She doesn't do much in the series. At least from what I remember, I finished the series quite a while ago, so I don't remember a lot. But from what I remember, Junichi didn't do much. Next up is Brody, rounding out the teenagers, or well, the preteens. Brody. Now Brody comes into the whole plot because he's the son of like a general in the American army, and I don't know how to feel about Brody. Brody's I don't know. He's the weakest out of all of them because he's not given much plot relevance. Aside from when they're fighting Jigra or Jiger or whatever. It's Jiger. It's Jiger. When they're fighting Jiger, I mixed up Secret and Jiger. It's Jiger. When they're fighting Jiger, he gives the plan to instead of fighting Gamera, they fight Jiger, and like the army aims at Jiger instead. But aside from that, he doesn't do much in the whole show, and he's instead kind of much more antagonistic towards the whole thing, the whole cast. And honestly, Brody, I think he's my least favorite of the whole like kid cast. Also, he's supposed to be 12, which is insane to think about because he's built like a brick house. I've never seen a 12-year-old that's built like fucking The Rock, you know? He's built like that. And honestly, I don't know. Just, I think Brody's the weakest out of all of the kids, and he doesn't really do much. All the kids don't do much. I think they're mostly just, I guess, pieces to the whole thing, and Brody is just there to be the military kid, I guess. And Brody has this weird, like, he gets a crush on Junichi when he finds out she's a girl, and it goes nowhere, which I guess I'm gonna get to like later when I talk about potential for a second season, because this has not been renewed for a second season. Anime doesn't get renewed for a second season until fucking like years later. So God damn it, these dogs don't show up. Do you guys know that dogs can bark for up to like whenever the hell they want to stop? It's insane to think about. Like dogs just don't get tired of barking because it's one of their communication devices. I hate it. That's the one thing I hate about dogs. I hate that they don't get tired of barking. But anyways, Brody, running him out. He's not very good character. I think he's the worst character here. Next up is Tazaki. Now Tazaki, I think I enjoyed this guy a lot. Tazaki, he sort of played up. I feel like, I don't know if this is me being dumb brain, but he sort of played up to be the, I guess you call him, he's played up to be the antagonist, to be like this cold-hearted, like not cold-hearted, but like he doesn't really care about anything, and he's just kind of played up to be this like unlikable guy, but he turns out to be like the most helpful like adult ever in the whole GAMERA series, apparently, because I think in the GAMERA series most adults don't do anything. They're mostly useless because GAMERA is the protector of children and whatever. So yeah, I mean, I think Tazaki has a lot of things right with this whole thing. He helps out our cast of heroes, of kids. So do the whole, like, he puts everything into motion so they could win. So honestly, I think he's one of the better human characters here. I think I like him more than the kids. I don't think as much as Joe, but Tazaki is up there with one of the better characters of the show. So yeah, there's that. It's honestly, I think he's just one of the best ones. The whole thing where he's not really evil, he's an ass, is great. I love characters that aren't evil; they're just absolute assholes. But they know when to do the right thing, and the whole thing about him being like him like getting outside the kids and having to pretend he's part of the whole plan is I think it's great. It shows like his character is smart and calculating all that. He knows how to fool people. I think you do a lot with his character, and the fact that I think at the end of the show, if I'm not mistaken, Tazaki becomes like pretty much Steve Jobs and is using Aurelium as a to create iPhones. He becomes Steve Jobs and just becomes the iPhone. Makes the iPhone with Aurelium. But yeah, I actually missed that the first time. I didn't know that. I thought I didn't know what that meant. But I didn't miss that the first time. So yeah, I think there's a lot of potential with this character. He seems pretty smart. He seems to know. He's pretty calculating. I think he's one of the better characters in the show. And next up is the main villain of the show. That I feel like that what they did with her was well done, but it was too short-lived. Emiko. Emiko is absolutely hateable. I hate Emiko's hateable as hell. She spends most of the show, the first 4 episodes, kind of being like this, she's really nice to the kids and all this, and then 5th episode comes in and she is pure evil, and she has this whole plot about like her aunt is part of like the super like they're part of like descendant from aliens or whatever, and her aunt is like part of the whole like thing. Her aunt is part of like this organization that will save the world, will like save themselves before everyone else, and she's trying to take her out. But yeah, it's fine. But like one episode when before this, she's really nice. And then boom, episode 5 comes in. She reveals about like Virus and whatever. I think she reveals Virus in this. And then they realize that after Guiron attacks the base that they're in, she has to start the plan immediately, and that's when she becomes evil in episode 5. And she's evil in the entirety of episode 5, and she's absolutely hateable. She doesn't care about anybody. Like I said earlier, Junichi and Emiko kind of get into a friendship, and it's broken immediately and whatever. It's awful. She's awful, and I absolutely love that about her. She's awful. There are certain scenes. It's a scene in episode 3, where she's like given fan service because she's the only character you can actually give fan service to, and it's kind of weird when you're when you're making this character trying to be likable. I guess you could see that happen. Like, she's likable because she's kind of manipulating the kids to, I don't know, being on her side more because she's conscious that she's maybe, I don't know, attractive. But yeah, and they're all a bunch of 12-year-olds with hormones spiking through the roof and whatever. I don't know. It's maybe. But I saw some people in like a forum post talking about like she's in a bikini for no reason, but in I think one movie there's this alien that's an evil woman, and she's all an evil alien woman, and she's also in a bikini, so that might be like going into that direction, like a thing for like hardcore fans to, oh, maybe that's it. I don't know, but I don't think so. I think it's just fan service, a pure sense of fan service. But yeah, no. I feel like she's a great villain, but I think she should have had more time. These episodes are pretty long. Each episode's about 40 minutes long, which means that the whole show is around 4 hours. Yeah, 240 minutes. That is 4 hours long. It's a little bit over 4 hours long. And honestly, like, I feel like she's evil for the entirety of the 5th episode. She's awful in this episode, and then she's immediately killed in the 6th episode by New Gauss. So I feel like she was great for that episode as like the starting point, but I feel like she should have been built on more. And yeah, I think she should have built out more, and maybe she should have been a better villain. So yeah, now I'm talking about the monsters in this series, and there are quite a bit. There's only 6 here, and well, counting Gauss, there's technically 7. We're counting S Gauss, there's Super Gauss. It's technically 7. But yeah, first up is Gamera. I feel like what they do with Gamera is kind of weird. He, in the first few episodes, he shows up at the very end, and that's when he sort of attacks. He doesn't just attack, but he comes in and he beats everybody up, and it's very repetitive. The first 3 episodes, I think, like when Guiron shows up, he's a lot better. He shows up more, but Gamera's, I think, really good in this. We get a lot of his abilities, and I feel like his origin is very well made. He was the original kaiju that was sent to Earth to annihilate everything, and now he's good for some reason. Oh yeah, he's good because of other things, because of other aliens that want him to be good. God damn, these dogs don't show up. Okay. But yeah, Gamera. I think Gamera coming up here, I feel like he doesn't do much. He always beats the kaiju at the end or whatever. He comes in pretty late in, and surprisingly enough, he dies in this. And you know, to sacrifice himself, he doesn't hurt anybody else. He dies, and a new Gamera is laid. here. It's laid as an egg, and it's a Gamera. It's another Gamera. Gamera's gonna come back and whatever. So yeah, I feel like what they do with Gamera here is it's pretty good. But aside from that, I guess it's nothing special. It's nothing special. But yeah, I'm actually gonna need this picture for that. Damn it. Okay. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about. I think that's all I gotta say about Gamera. Gotta get into the other monsters. So I mean, it's super long. Yeah, the other monsters. Yeah, Gamera's good. Gauss is the first monster, and he's pretty weak at the start. He's the first monster that shows up. There are a bunch of Gauss, and he's handled well, I think. And him coming back for the finale was something that it's kind of lazy, but I feel like Super Gauss or S Gauss design is pretty cool. I like the membrane as around the ears. It looks alien. It looks vile. It looks awful, and awful in a good way. It looks like it's in pain. But yeah, it's honestly like I think Gauss is really well done in this, and Gauss is the main villain of Gamera. He's Gamera's arch nemesis, and him being brought back here, is pretty cool. But it's sort of redundant because I mean Gauss has been in every single incarnation of Gamera, and it's always been sort of the main villain. So yeah. Yeah, next up is Jiger. This is our first time seeing Jiger since his movie appearance in Gamera the Super Monster, which was reused footage. So yeah, it's been quite a while since we've seen this monster, and I feel like he's the worst of the bunch because there's nothing really about him that really does anything aside from kind of giving Brody his characterization. Jiger really what he sets up is the cannibalist aspect of the kaiju, where the more kaiju they eat, the stronger other kaiju grow. And that's that's part of Jiger's whole storyline. There's a bunch of Jigers, and then they all get eaten by one Jiger, and this Super Jiger becomes the one that attacks the characters. But I think he's one of the worst. But he doesn't really do much, and he's just kind of like a big monster. But yeah, next up is Segura, which I think is one of the better ones because Segura does allow for a lot of unique combat, and yeah, I mean. Segura allows for a bunch of unique combat in the water. I think he looks cool. I like the design they had gave him with the whole manta ray. I think it would have been a bit stupid to have him be like what he looks like in the Showa series. So him being sort of this monster, this manta ray monster, I think it was something that was kind of needed for him to have an updated design. And even when he's on land, he moves around like he doesn't move like a man in a suit. He looks he looks well, and yeah, I feel like Segura is one of the better ones here, alongside Gamera. But yeah, it's aside from that, I don't know. See, Segura's pretty cool, and I like his fights and all that. I like how to beat him. It takes a while to beat Segura, and so it's like a really big threat. So yeah, I like Segura for that. Next up is Guiron. Guiron, I think, is also one of the weaker ones. What Guiron does is just kind of become a whole. I don't know. He's there for some time. I like when they have the design. He like stretches and he jumps around and all that. I think that's pretty cool. But aside from that, he doesn't really do much. And there's nothing. Aside from kind of further like speeding up the plot, he doesn't really do much. He does give Gamera a good old beating, and I don't know. I think Guiron is kind of forgettable. Kind of like Jiger. He's pretty forgettable, and I don't know if he's the best. the best kaiju for in a fight. I think it brought him back just to have 5 kaiju. So yeah, next up is Viras. Now Viras is kind of disappointing. He's sort of brought up to be the big bad of the show, and he is killed immediately by Gamera. So yeah, I mean, he does kill a bunch of people. The most things he does is like kill a bunch of people in the base, but then he flies up to chase a rocket, and then he is immediately cut down by Gamera. Gamera goes up, flies in it, and he spins around and he cuts Viras in half, and Viras' corpse lands back in the Foundation's headquarters or whatever they are. So yeah, he's pretty disappointing, but aside from that, I think Viras could have been a bit cooler. So yeah, moving on to the plot of the show. Now the plot, it's pretty simple. It was kind of a Monster of the Week thing about the Monster of the Week because it released all at once on Netflix. But I feel like with that thing, it actually does something pretty cool where it's supposed to be Monster of the Week, but it follows a pretty linear storyline, and that's something that's very commendable and something I actually gotta see, because I was making a Monster Hunter series, Monster Hunter written series is what I called it, but now they're called like books. I know, like, I'm gonna post on fanfiction on that and all that, and AO3, and people. I don't think people are gonna be happy they're called books, but whatever. It's just a series name. Absolutely, they're all just still fanfiction or fiction, or I call them stories. So yeah, like a Monster Hunter stories. That's another thing. Monster Hunter like fanfiction, and I was writing it so each chapter would focus on a different monster, but also furthering a plot. And I was getting kind of weirded out because sometimes they don't further the plot enough or whatever. So yeah, I don't know where I left off. I'm not gonna listen to 36 minutes. I had to cut it there a little bit. But yeah, the plot. It's a Monster of the Week, and it's something I gotta like see because I gotta study, and I was making that, and I was like, it was Monster of the Week, and I was getting pretty confused because I didn't know how to make a 17 chapter story into a linear one with Monster of the Week, but I have to figure it out. They did it here. They might. I might pull it off. The thing is about here is that it's 6 episodes, which I feel is actually a detriment to this whole series. A lot of the things I talked about the characters, I feel like could have been explored more if I had more episodes. And I feel like they could have worked with more monsters and all that. I feel like we could have had more time to sort of do that. Maybe even one more episode. It's 6 kaiju, and he fights Barugon, which is one of the forgotten ones. He's Gamera's first actual antagonist. It's Gamera's first fight, and he's not here at all. He's not in the show a lot. He's not in the show anywhere. We don't have a show a Reiwa counterpart to Barugon yet. So maybe. So I think if there was more episodes, even just one, I feel like we could have had much more time to really flesh out Emiko as a villain, and have Barugon maybe show up and become like and we'd have all the Showa kaiju here, but we don't, and that's I don't know. I feel like we should even one more episode. I think could have made up for the lost time of not having much time to use all the care to really further the plot in a certain way that would have made it more satisfactory. And it's also this weird thing where Joe is believed to be dead, and he at the end of episode 6 is revealed that he's actually alive. So I feel like that kind of takes away from the whole thing. Yeah, I think that takes away from Joe's sacrifice. It reminded me of this is a pretty weird comparison, but Camp Cretaceous when Ben he falls from the monorail, and then at the end we see him actually being alive. I thought they killed the kid, but I thought they were going, oh my god, they actually killed the kid, but they didn't. And here it's the same thing. We thought they killed the kid, and they didn't. The thing is, when I was from here, but I thought it would be permanent because this is a mature rated series. Like, but it wasn't. It wasn't there. It wasn't part of it. And honestly, that's kind of. I gotta say, disappointing. They didn't really go full on. I know it's like, wait, are you telling me to kill a kid? Like, I'm telling these guys to like full on kill kids. Like, I mean, maybe, I guess, I don't know. But I feel like you could have gone a lot more, and maybe, though I think the plot was not rushed, it didn't feel rushed, but I feel like it could have had more time to develop. And that's kind of where it suffered here. It didn't have enough time to develop, and it fell flat. It fell kind of flat, but it's fine. It was fine. The whole series is pretty good. I do recommend it. So yeah, that's kind of my whole thing on the series. I'm not done, but yeah, it's pretty good. If you can stomach the animation, it's pretty good. But I don't know if you can. I'll be real with you. Stomaching this animation is gonna be hard. I mean, I couldn't do it. I had to take a break from watching this series. Not like anywhere, but you know, I finished it quite a bit. Like, yeah. Just putting it out there. So yeah, my 5th point. What is the future for GAMERA? There's a lot of things here that really do lead to season 2, like Tazaki making the Aurelium phones, or O phones, or what they're gonna be called, and Joe being alive. Maybe we see more kaiju. Maybe we actually see Barugon, not Baragon. That's from Godzilla. Barugon. Maybe we see Barugon in like season 2, and maybe we see other characters like Iris or Zetus or Legion in season 2. Or maybe even a new kaiju made for GAMERA, or maybe it's only gonna be a one season show, or just all we got is a full series, and that's all. And you know, maybe we're gonna get a theatrical movie, maybe in the sense of a Japanese exclusive movie, or maybe even Monsterverse, an American movie, Monsterverse. A lot of people want GAMERA to be in the Monsterverse, and I feel like it's possible. Because I mean, okay, I know a lot of people don't want like more like a lot of Monsterverse to be a super crossover, but it already is. It's already Kong and Godzilla mixed together. That's already what it is. It's already a crossover. It's Godzilla world and Kong world mixed together. GAMERA and aliens exist because King Ghidorah's an alien. So GAMERA coming from somewhere in deep in space, it's not that far-fetched of a possibility. So I feel like GAMERA could come in the Monsterverse. He could also be in his own movie, or a season 2. Honestly, I would watch both, and because not only because we have to cover it here, but yeah, I'm just excited to see. And I'm probably gonna watch all those old GAMERA movies. They're probably not as good as Godzilla, but they're probably fun to see and fun to watch. I know they were kind of made fun of in Mystery Science Theater 2000. So yeah, probably fun to make fun of and whatever. But yeah. Otherwise, GAMERA Rebirth is really the best kaiju anime you can find on anywhere. It was made by the same person that made the Polygon trilogy, and I think I've expressed why I hate the Polygon trilogy from Godzilla a lot. And, you know, give him the benefit of the doubt. He made a good GAMERA show. He made a good kaiju show. The first good kaiju anime I've ever seen in my life. The first good one. Maybe not the first good show. Godzilla 1999 exists. He's putting it out there. But yeah. And that's about it. What are you guys' thoughts on GAMERA Rebirth? Leave it in the comments below. So follow us on Twitter at media_buffet and at D8 Entertainment with the E at the end, on YouTube at D Entertainment, that E, and follow the Media Buffet bonus YouTube channel at Media Buffet YT. And me, I am at Mercury S Cheese on Twitter, at Mercury SC on YouTube, and Mercury C Cheese on Twitch. So that's about it. See ya.